for the 2013 Big Ten Championship game. Now let's go down to tonight's referee, Dan Caprone, for the coin toss.
All right, gentlemen. I have a ceremonial Big Ten Championship coin. The coin that has the logos from both schools on it will be heads. The side that has the Big Ten logo on it will be tails. Ohio State, you're the visiting team. You're going to call the toss. What's your call?
Heads.
Heads is called. It is a head. You've won the toss. What would you like to do? Defer? Hang on just a second. Ohio State has won the toss and elected to defer their choice to the second half. You want the ball? Which way you want to kick? Kick this way? Please put your backs over there. Michigan State, put your backs over here. Michigan State has elected to receive to start the game.
This is for the Big Ten Championship, folks, and we're underway from Indy. And this will be Shelton. Gets to the 15, the 20, and Shelton finally out of bounds as he crosses the 25-yard line. So here are tonight's Jared players to watch, brought to you by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry.
Last time Michigan State was here, Jeremy Langford was a cornerback, 7 straight 100-yard games. Tony Lippett, the go-to wide receiver lately for Michigan State. Ryan Shazier, 50 tackles in his last 3 games, and Bradley Roby was an All-American player last year. Ohio State needs him to play to that level this evening.
First down and 10 at the 30-yard line for the Spartans. And they hand it off. Here's Jeremy Langford. And Langford will pick up a couple. Noah Spence with the tackle. Your quarterback, Connor Cook, 6'4", 218, sophomore from Hinckley, Ohio. He's 10-1 as a starter. Second down and 8 at the 32. Cook will throw on second down with time. Over the middle and incomplete. Spartans beating the Gophers 14-3. Third and 8. At the 32, they need to go to the 40-yard line for first down out of the shotgun. Cook lofting it up in the air, incomplete, and a late flag throw.
Pass interference. Defense, number 12. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And it's the correct call, because once the ball's in the air, you can't put your hands on the receiver. Ball was in the air, and Grant put his hands out late to chuck the wide receiver, and once he did that, the officials had no choice but to put a flag on the ground. Cook will have to be as effective throwing the ball and precise as Devin Gardner was.
And they'll hand it off to Langford straight ahead. Langford bounces it outside and is tracked down by the All-America, Bradley Roby, the junior. He's broken up a number of passes, third in the Big Ten. Second and 10 at the 47. Here's Cook under pressure, drops it off. It's a screen, Langford. Langford trying to get outside and does, and gets close to the first down. He threw on the afterburners when he saw that first down marker and picks it up. A gain of 13. Lining up for the Spartans. Here's the play fake. Screen on the far side. Kings, and he's wrapped up and taken down. C.J. Barnett. Cook handing the ball off to Langford, and he's wrapped up and knocked backwards. Terrific defense, Joshua Perry. So third down and 11 at the 41. Spartans need to go to the Ohio State 30 for first down. Empty backfield for Connor Cook. He'll sprint out of the pocket, looking. Cook fires, ball caught, and this is Tony Lippett, but I don't know if he has enough for the first down. It'll be depending on the spot. Jeremy Langford, the single setback. And Cook pushes it forward and picks up the first down. First down and 10 to the 29. Opening drive for Michigan State. Cook, play action fake. In trouble and goes down. Joey Bosa. He's a true freshman, folks, from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He wasn't afraid to play in the cold. Second and 18 at the 37. Here's Cook. Drops it off. Langford makes the first man miss, looking for a crease, and he won't get it. Terrific pursuit. Noah Spence finally brings him down. They're faced with a third and 19 at the 38. They need to get inside the 20-yard line. Here's Cook. He'll loft it up the sideline, and a flag. Wow, Langford, the intended receiver. And Langford got drilled and he's not happy about it. First down and 10 at the 26 for the Spartans, who run it again. Delton Williams around the corner, and Shazier is there to knock him out of play.
Exactly what Michigan State wants to do. Possess the ball and keep Ohio State's offense on the sidelines.
2nd and 7 to the 23, out of the gun. Cook will float one up toward the far sideline and incomplete. Lippett, the intended receiver. 3rd and 7 to the 23. Twins on both sides of the ball. Cook underneath and incomplete. So that brings on Michael Geiger, who's made 10 field goals in a row. His career long 49 yards versus Iowa. This one from 40 yards away. Good snap, clean hold, and good. Muma with a strong leg into the end zone. And the Buckeyes will take a knee. Dontre Wilson. Now let's take a look at our Jared players to watch.
Well, for Ohio State, Carlos Hyde sets the tone with his inside running, but Devin Smith out wide is the dagger when they want to throw it deep. Max Bulla is a tackling machine inside, and Shalik Calhoun was voted the Big Ten's Defensive Lineman of the Year, creates a lot of push back towards the quarterback.
So first down and 10 at the 25 for Braxton Miller, the quarterback of the Buckeyes. And he'll hand it off on first down. Carlos Hyde slashing through the hole. And he gets to the 31. Twan Jones with the tackle after a 6-yard pickup. And a look at the great Braxton Miller. 2nd down and 4 at the 31. They'll swing it out. Here's Hyde. Catches it, gets his shoulder squared, and he is upended by Trey Waynes at the 33 for Ohio State. Empty backfield. Miller wasn't ready for the snap. He has it. And he looked for Hyde. 3 and out for Ohio State. Cameron Johnson, the 21-year-old former Australian rules football player, will punt it from the 18. High snap handle. And he delivers a beautiful punt. McGarrett King signaling for the fair catch and has it inside his own 20. He lost to Urban Meyer 17-16 in East Lansing a year ago. First down and 10 of the 20. Here's Cook, delayed handoff. Langford trying to squeeze through. He'll pick up 2 yards.
Hold the football. Keep Ohio State's offense on the sidelines and pound it.
And they'll hand it to Langford again, running left. Langford with the blocker, and he'll stumble forward. 3rd down and 1 at the 29. There's Gleicher. Langford, the deep back. And they'll give it to him. He picks up the first down and more as he spins and keeps his feet churning. First down, Michigan State. And it's a movement on the right side. Looks like it's the right guard, Dan France.
Full start. Offense. Number 59. 5-yard penalty. First down.
14th different Spartan to compile a 1,000-yard season. And he runs it again. Great balance, stays on his feet, but is wrapped up and taken down by Duran Grant. And that's a loss. 2nd down and 16 at the 31. Here's Cook. Over the middle. And caught by his tight end, Josiah Price, the redshirt freshman from Greentown, Indiana. Cook. A check down to Langford. Langford trying to get the first down on extra effort, but Roby comes out of nowhere and lays him out. Shazier there first. Back deep inside his own 15. And Sadler, high hanger. And Brown with the fair catch at the 14-yard line. That we've ever seen in college football history. As Ohio State runs the ball, they get to the 20-yard line.
We'll say, hey, they deserve it over Ohio State if they win tonight.
Here's Carlos Hyde running. He'll stumble forward and pick up a first down. First down and 10 at the 29-yard line. Second drive for Ohio State. Miller pulls it out, sprints out of the pocket, throws on the run, and he's got Billy Brown.
Stayed in bounds before the first contact.
Brown has a small stress fracture in his leg, which has limited his catches last couple of weeks. Now Miller on course with the receiver. And Brown had it in his hands. He just couldn't bring it down. 2nd and 10 at the 39. Hyde lines up next to Braxton Miller.
Prior to the expiration of the play clock, charge timeout, Ohio State.
2nd and 10 now for the Buckeyes at their own 39. And Braxton Miller runs it. And Braxton Miller is dropped immediately. Isaiah Lewis, the senior from Indianapolis, with the tackle. Here's Miller to throw. Miller in trouble. Braxton Miller sacked at the 35. Johnston punting from the 21. McGarrett Kings back at his own 22. Here's Kings backpedaling. And Kings hit before he could catch the football. That's a flag going against the Buckeyes.
Kick-catch interference, number 41 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
First time since 1942. The Iowa Seahawks was the last time they had to do that.
Here's a handoff. Not a lot of room. That'll take us to the end of the quarter. Nick Hill running. Cook. And Cook looking. Caught! Mumphrey down the sideline. Sparty's got 6. 72 yards. Heath Mumphrey, a junior from Vienna, Georgia. He backs up Benny Fowler. Mumphrey with his 16th catch of the season. Extra point up and good on this possession. This ball sent into the end zone for a touchback. Buckeyes will have it at the 25. First down and 10 to the 25 for Braxton Miller and this Ohio State offense. Here's Miller, low snap, Hyde. And Hyde tracked down and taken down right at the line of scrimmage. Shalik Calhoun, first man to him. Curtis Drummond also in on the play, and Calhoun is down. 2nd and 9 to the 26. Miller fires. This ball caught. Philly Brown, hesitation, and he'll get toward the first down and pick it up. All right, thank you very much, Aaron. 1st and 10 at the 35. Miller elects to run the football. He's got some running room, gets outside, picks up the first down and more. So Braxton Miller goes down.
Don't press. Have patience. You won't get the same number of plays.
Miller handing it off. Hyde. 2nd down and 9 for Ohio State. At the 47, down by 10. Here's Braxton Miller, and he's gobbled up. Miller trying to squeeze through the hole. 3rd down and 7 at the 49. Ohio State 0 for 2 on conversions. Here's Braxton Miller under pressure. Lost it. He'll recover the football, but Bulla and Ed Davis squeezing him, and that's a 2nd sack of the night for the Spartans. Cameron Johnson will punt it away inside the 20. McGarrett Kings back deep. Beautiful high spiraling punt. Kings will give it a shot. Breaks the first tackle. Still on his feet. Dancing. And he'll cross the 30 and get close to the 35.
See how the bench is now facing the crowd? It's either to keep their focus away from the field for the defense or to help absorb some of the energy. They're right in front of a Michigan State section.
And they'll hand it off. Langford running left. He'll spin. And Langford crossing the 35.
But what's interesting, if you face that direction, you're actually showing the board towards the Ohio State sideline.
2nd down and 5. Langford again. Will hop forward and cross the 40.
I think he's going to need to use his legs at some point as a pressure release, but it hasn't been enough pressure to make him do that. He stood tall in the pocket and delivered the ball well downfield.
Solid numbers for Cook thus far. 7 of 10, 106 yards and a touchdown to Mumphrey. 3rd down and short from the 41. And the Spartans take a timeout. Down and 3 at the 41 for Michigan State. Connor Cook over the middle and caught for a first down as they get inside Ohio State territory.
Has been hurt, hasn't had the numbers they've expected, but he's a big-time talent.
First down and 10, play fake. Here's Cook rolling out of the pocket, throws on the run, and it's caught out of bounds. Mumphrey again. First down, Spartans, and they say it's a catch.
This might be a time to take a shot.
First down and 10 at the Ohio State 33. Cook dropping back deep. He'll take that shot, lip it. Touchdown, Spartans. Great call, Charles Davis. They heard you in East Lansing. Michael Geiger, extra point up and good.
But remember, this is Ohio State. Explosive as heck on offense. Everything's going the way Michigan State wants it, but they can't start celebrating too early.
9:01 to play. And this is Dontre Wilson bringing it out of the end zone. And Wilson gets to the 15.
We met with Mark D'Antonio this week, and I've never seen him more relaxed and confident. It's like he knew a secret that the rest of the world was about to find out, and so far, so good.
First down and 10, Carlos Hyde.
Let's see if Ohio State changes strategy and moves their passing game inside to the slots.
Hyde in motion out of the backfield. Braxton Miller scrambling. Miller, he'll take it himself. Wants a block, has a seam. Miller still running. Braxton Miller, oh my God, what a move. And Miller down at the 35. First down and 10 at the 34. Let's see if this puts some life in this Ohio State team. Philly Brown breaks 2 tackles. Gets up the sideline, close to a first down. Deep in Michigan State territory. First and 10 at the 23. Carlos Hyde lines up as the pistol back behind Braxton Miller. And they'll give it to Hyde. Straight ahead, he'll get to the 20.
They've got to get 34 his touches and establish a little bit more tone running the football.
Second down and 7 at the Michigan State 20. Miller drops back, throws in the end zone. Touchdown, Ohio State. Philly Brown. 6:26 to go, second quarter. Drew Basil in for the extra point. And it's good. A terrific drive for Ohio State to get the Buckeyes on the board. Ellsworth and Shelton back deep. This is Shelton inside his own 5. And he'll get to the 21 before being wrestled down. So let's see how this Ohio State defense responds now that Braxton Miller has led them to their first score of the game. And it's responding well. How about that? Joey Bosa again. It's kicking ball. Second down and 15 after the 5-yard loss at the 17-yard line. Cook sets up in the pocket, throws and completes. Lip it again. First down. 11 of 14, 182 yards and 2 touchdowns already. Cook will hand it off to Langford. He'll pick his way through the hole and finally lean forward. And that is a gain of 3 yards on the play.
Plays left guard for him. Jack Allen, 66. The center, probably their second best blocker up front.
Second and 7. Cook rolls out of the pocket. Cook throws and incomplete at the 45. Intended for Andrew Gleichert. Here's Cook. Dancing. Cook. Looking. Cook. Incomplete. Intended for McGarrett Kings at the 17-yard line. As Mike Sadler sends it away. Left-footed punter. This one off the side of his foot. Picked up Brown at the 20. Brown still running at the 30. And goes down at the 31.
The last touchdown pass to Philly Brown. They took the wide receiver and got him away from the cornerbacks. Worked him inside on the safeties. When they throw the ball, let's see if that strategy continues for Ohio State.
First down at the 31 for the Buckeyes. Here's Braxton Miller. He'll decide to run it with a huge opening at the 40. Miller still going, gets to midfield, and finally out of bounds inside Spartan territory. First down and 10 at the 48 for Miller. And a quick strike, Philly Brown, incomplete. That one thrown low. Miller accounting for 79 of the 84 yards on their touchdown drive. He ran for 48 and threw for 31, including the touchdown. 2nd and 10 at the 48 of Michigan State. Braxton Miller looking. Miller all day to throw it. Miller finally fires it toward the far side. Incomplete. Carlos Hyde, closest man to the football. This is the Big Ten Championship on Fox. Ohio State, the number 2 team in the nation. And a timeout called in the first half. Hyde in motion out of the backfield. Miller decides to run it. Gets through the hole, but doesn't go far enough as he's dragged down from behind. Looks like Isaiah Lewis got him. As Cameron Johnson prepares to send this one away from the 41. End over end. Darren Bennett, Aussie kick. And it's fair caught at the 12. And Charles, it looks like Braxton Miller is more effective on non-designed quarterback runs.
And those are the ones that scare the heck out of any team that plays with. Michigan State's no different. But what they call those loose plays that you can't really account for. When he's in the open field, dangerous.
Shazier bringing down Langford. And that's a loss of 3 yards on the play. Second and 13, Cook. Delayed handoff and nothing. Shazier again, Langford running the football. Auburn also beating Missouri in the SEC championship. 3rd down and 10. Connor Cook in trouble, and he'll just dump it. Mike Sadler punting out of his own end zone. Philly Brown back deep at midfield. Sadler gets it away. Wobbly kick. Brown lets it take a bounce. And it takes a Michigan State bounce. And will die close to the 35. No timeouts for the Buckeyes. 1:23 to go. Braxton Miller, play fake. Deep in the pocket. And he's sacked for the 3rd time. Shalik Calhoun, Max Bulla combining on the sack. So a loss of 6, 2nd and 16. 40 seconds remaining in the first half. Miller, high snap handle. He'll run it. Here's Braxton Miller. And he'll get down at the 45. About a yard short of the first down on 2nd and 16.
My goodness, the plays he makes back there that we never talk about later. Just catching that football was terrific.
3rd down, Miller handing it off to Hyde, and he'll pick up a first down.
Now they go fast. The chains have to be set. The clock stops to get them set. It's a mini timeout. Move to the line of scrimmage and see if he spikes it.
And he will.
Okay, so if you throw the ball here, you've got to have enough time to get to the line of scrimmage and spike it. So you got to have more than 2 seconds on the clock when you spike it in order for it to count.
2nd down and 10. Here's Miller to throw it. Winds up over the middle. It's tight end. Hireman down at the 10. 6 seconds on the clock.
So they're in good shape here because the clock stops to set the chains. Plenty of time for them to spike it.
And the Buckeyes spike the football with 4 seconds to go. And they'll bring on the field goal unit immediately. So Basil trying to cut the Michigan State lead to 7 from 28 yards away. And it's good. And that's the end of the first half. Kicking off for Michigan State. Hall and Wilson back deep. And Dontre Wilson will take a knee. Braxton Miller rolling out of the pocket, throws on the run, incomplete. Jeff Hireman, closest man to the football. Buckeyes have scored on 2 of their last 3 drives, a touchdown and a field goal. 2nd down and 10. And Hyde breaking through. Great run as he gets close to the 45. That's an 18-yard gain. Curtis Drummond brings him down in Pasadena. Michigan State jumping offside.
Offside. Defense, number 40. 5-yard penalty. First down.
First down and 5 at the 48. And Hyde again. And he'll get inside Michigan State territory.
He's quicker, he's stronger, he's faster, and boy, has he had a monster year since he's returned.
10 carries, 61 yards. Here's Miller. He'll tuck it with daylight. Braxton Miller cuts it inside. Still on his feet and finally goes down at the Michigan State 23. Miller has had runs of 48, 21, and 24 yards. And this is Carlos Hyde. He'll get inside the 20. Danico Sallin cuts him down. Hyde, a receiver at the top of your screen. Here's Miller. Thought about running it. Drops back. Near side. Ball caught. Devin Smith. And he lost it out of bounds.
Natural check down to Devin Smith.
Now Miller running wide. Turns the corner with a blocker. Touchdown, Ohio State. "17 straight points for Ohio State."
If they go 3 and out and turn it right back over to Ohio State's offense, that's not a good thing because they've got them on the run right now.
Basil will send it away. Ellsworth and Shelton back deep. And this will be Shelton. Gets to the 20, goes outside, and finally chopped down as he crosses the 25-yard line with the football at their own 29. Play fake. Cook rolls out of the pocket with time and throws. Should be a first down as Benny Fowler makes the catch and is knocked out of bounds. Player that wears number 5 on Ohio State that may be back on the ballot. Here's the inside handoff. Langford.
I don't think there's any question about that. The way he's playing tonight on the national stage.
And they cut the deficit to 7 at the end of the first half and scored to start the second half to tie it up at 17. Here's the option. Cook. He'll pitch it. Langford got his shoulder pad square and gets to the 45. Cook out of shotgun. Cook pumping over the middle. Picked off. C.J. Barnett gobbled it up. And Ohio State forces a turnover with excellent field position.
This is a prime spot on the field to run something big.
First down and 10 at the Michigan State 48 for Ohio State. Carlos Hyde next to Braxton Miller. He gives it to him. Hyde, first down, Buckeyes. Marcus Rush, the injured Spartan, walked off the field on his own.
You noted a while ago how Braxton Miller started to take over in this game, and guess who else is back involved?
Here's Miller to throw it. He'll fire in the end zone, deep, Philly Brown! Knocked away at the end. Buckeyes won that game 17-16. Second and 10 at the 37. Miller running. And Miller. Tracked down. Brings up 3rd and 5 at the 32. Empty backfield for Miller.
And look at the bunch set to the wide side at the top.
Movement on the right side of the offensive line. And it looks like Taylor Decker, the right tackle.
Full start. Offense. Number 68. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Third down and 10 at the 37. Here's Miller. He'll fire it. Looking for Devin Smith. Oh, incomplete. As they win that small battle, this one popped high in the air, heading toward the end zone. And he'll be downed inside the 5. So first down and 10 for Michigan State at their own 4. Langford running right, and he'll be lucky if his forward progress gets him back to the line of scrimmage. Second and 9, Michigan State, 20 carries, only 23 yards tonight. Here's Connor Cook passing out of his own end zone. Tough throw, and incomplete. McGarrett Kings couldn't get a foot in bounds, and that brings up 3rd and long. Cook in the shotgun, empty backfield. He'll sprint out. Throws, and he just throws this one out of play. So Mike Sadler will punt deep in his own end zone. His career long 70 yards versus Ohio State last year. He could use it now. Corey Brown back deep. Brown will get a shot. Backpedaling from the 45. Philly Brown bottled up. Turns the corner. And out of bounds.
The offensive line for Ohio State was a story coming in. Marcus Hall not getting the start after getting in trouble at Michigan. According to our Aaron Andrews, he's only played one series tonight. Pat Elflein has carried the bulk of the game.
Carlos Hyde with daylight. Hyde still running, uses his power. And out of bounds, Isaiah Lewis and Hyde tying up. 1st and 10 at the 34. Miller, he'll run it with blockers. And goes down. Braxton Miller picks up 7.
They're starting to really get a rhythm, and the offensive line is gaining an advantage.
Jordan Hall now checks in at tailback. Here's Miller giving it up to Hall. 1st down. And Jordan Hall says, hey, wait a minute, Charles Davis. I can run the rock too. Tell the coaches to give it to me. I'll pick up 13 for you.
Right in the middle, Corey Lindsley, 71, setting the tone.
1st down and 10 at the State 14. The Buckeyes have found their rhythm. Hyde hops through the hole and almost popped it free.
Because running it does more damage to the psyche of a defense than throwing it.
2nd down and 2. Braxton Miller.
But I'm with you, partner. I never saw anyone throw their hands up and say touchdown.
2nd touchdown of the evening for Braxton Miller. And Basil in for the extra point, and it's good. A 24-17 lead. Their first lead of the game. R.J. Shelton will take a knee in the end zone, and the Spartans will start at the 25.
I apologize to you for that one. Head linesman threw his hands up, and no one else echoed it. So they did signal the touchdown for Braxton Miller. These eyes, gotta give them a check.
It got by me too. 1st and 10 of the 25 for Michigan State. Cook handing it off. Langford with some running room, breaking tackles, cuts it inside. Watch out! Langford, beautiful run as he gets down inside the Ohio State 40.
Field misses a second one and scampers downfield.
Cook looking deep. Incomplete. No flag on the play. Burbridge, the intended receiver. Out of St. Mary's High School in Akron, there was a pretty good basketball player that went there here. Far side, ball caught by Price, but some wood being laid now, folks. 4 receivers at the bottom of your screen. Kings, the motion man. Cook sprints out, shovel pass. Kings looking for the 1st down, and he won't get it. Shazier.
Decision time now for D'Antonio, too. And you see his guys around him, but what I found interesting is you're coming up on 4th and short. There's a possibility you might go for it, and the offensive line's not in an offensive huddle. This is much more like Mark D'Antonio. He likes to press it himself, even though the look of him suggests conservatism. He likes to go for it.
Langford lines up next to Connor Cook. 4th down and 2. Here's the option. Oh, Cook keeps it and picks up a 1st down. How often do you see that? Connor Cook, not known as a runner.
Trying to find those inches that they didn't get in last year's season that was 7 and 6.
We got 6 yards on 4th and 2. 1st down at the Ohio State 27. Play action. Cook looks backside. He finds Gleicher, and Gleicher gets clobbered. Adolphus Washington. He'll pay the price for the big hit. Second and 10. Cook rolls out, tries to set up. Bosa there. Cook tipped down and incomplete. Roby got a hand on the football. He comes down and grabs his left knee. Shazier there as well. And a good sign, he gets off and quickly, gets up rather and quickly walks off. Urban Meyer out to make sure that his All-American corner is in good shape.
They got Reeves in the slot though, defended.
Third down and 10. Cook over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Price. Sadler the holder. Clean snap, good hold, it's up. Does it have enough? Yes, it does. Dontre Wilson from his own goal line. And he'll be wrapped up at the 20. First down and 10 at the 21. Miller, Philly Brown. And nice open field tackle. Second and 7. Hyde with an opening. And a first down as he gets to the 35. Curtis Drummond with the tackle. 8 consecutive 100-yard games for Carlos Hyde. He's gone over the 3,000-yard mark in his Ohio State career. Miller gets out of the pocket, throws up and incomplete. That one sailed on him a bit, intended for Philly Brown. Hyde running. This time, oh, look at the leg turn. His legs just turning over and over. Gain of 6 there. Third down and 4 at the 42. Empty backfield.
In empty backfield, you've got to think to yourself, Braxton Miller with some type of a quarterback run.
Jordan Hall lines up with him. Miller keeps it, and he won't get it. Michigan State's D right there. Ed Davis has been awesome tonight. And that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. As we start this fourth quarter, Cameron Johnson will punt it away. And he got off another nice punt. King signaling for the fair catch and has it at the 10-yard line. A 48-yard punt.
Ohio State's pressure has gotten there, and their coverage has gotten tighter on the receivers.
First down and 10. Cook to throw on first down. Off his back foot. Nicely done. As Benny Fowler comes up with the grab.
And Bradley Roby has not been back on the field for Ohio State.
Here's Cook. He'll loft one. Nice throw. And it's caught. Kings grabs it back. Flag on the play. Kings down at the Ohio State 22.
During the run, illegal block on the back by the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Michigan State.
First down, though, for the Spartans at the 40 of Ohio State. Cook again over the middle. Kings in heavy traffic makes the grab. C.J. Barnett brings him down. The Spartans to a come-from-behind 17-16 bowl game win over TCU last year. Turned a lot of heads. Second and 3. Here's Cook. Will hand it off. This time it's Shelton. Flag on the play. R.J. Shelton around the corner.
Offside. Defense, number 37. The penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
Let's see if they take a shot here. First down and 10. Cook. Hit as he throws. Incomplete. Benny Fowler had his fingertips on the football. Connor Cook doing a nice job of standing in under all the heat. Roby trying to loosen that leg up on the Ohio State sideline. Cook. He'll take a shot this time. Incomplete and a flag. Deron Grant again called for pass interference. Tony Lippett, the intended receiver.
Receivers considered open.
Pass interference. Defense, number 12. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
First down and 10 at the 11 for Michigan State. Down by 4. Connor Cook has found a groove. Incomplete, looking in the end zone. That one a little low for Josiah Price. Watch Lippett at the bottom of your screen. He's lined up with Reeves. Cook runs the option, pitches it. Langford. And Langford gets inside the 10. Langford, the single setback. Here's Cook. Play fake. Cook with time. Wide open. Touchdown Spartans. Josiah Price. Leading Ohio State with 11:41 to play in the fourth quarter of the Big Ten Championship. And they'll kick it short. Loose ball. And it looks like Ohio State will have it. Fortunate, too. Second lead change in this game. So Braxton Miller will start with good field position at his own 41. Miller elects to run it. Tries to get outside, but will not. Goes down at the line of scrimmage. Second and 10. Hireman in motion. They'll hand it off to Hyde. He runs into a pile, but keeps moving forward and gets to the 45. It's a 4-yard gain. Braxton Miller, 2 of 6 for 14 yards passing in the second half. He's faced with a 3rd and 6. Here's Miller. Drills it. Incomplete. Evan Spencer couldn't hold on.
And guess what? They made Mark D'Antonio's decision stand up, didn't they?
Yes, they did. 7th punt of the night for Cameron Johnston from the 30. The Garrett Kings has it at his own 10. At their own 10. Bradley Roby back in after injuring his leg. First down. Cook. And he'll drop it off to Langford. Langford breaking tackles and finally wrestled down by Adolphus Washington. Second down and 3 at the 17. Cook hands it off. Langford. And he'll pick up 2. Lippett trying to get lined up. He does at the top of your screen. Cook over the middle. Caught first down. Benny Fowler found a soft spot. Cook to throw it on first down. Pump fake. He'll loft it in the air. And incomplete. Intended for Benny Fowler. He actually was run out of bounds. Duran Grant covered. Cook sprints out. Quick delivery. Langford makes the first tackle. And Jeremy Langford to pick up about 3 yards.
Remember we said at the beginning of the game, misdirection passes, screens. Michigan State copying some of what Michigan did to hurt Ohio State.
3rd down and 7 at the 28. Langford lines up next to Cook. Cook looking, incomplete. Ohio State brought pressure.
Bradley Roby has 3 blocked punts in his career, 2 of them this season.
Philly Brown back deep at the 35 for Ohio State. Sadler from his own 14. Good snap. And it's blocked. Buckeyes get a hand on it. It may have been Shazier, their leader. Now Braxton Miller runs it. Just an amazing play by Ryan Shazier. 2nd and 6, but can Ohio State pay it off? Down 27-24. Miller. Carlos Hyde. Good jitterbug through the hole. Stopped by Denikos Allen. Braxton Miller has been great with his legs.
Empty set again.
He's rushed for 128 yards. Miller takes off. And Miller knocked backwards. He won't get it. Micaiah Reynolds. Right now, Ohio State faced with a 4th down and a yard and a half. Carlos Hyde in the backfield.
If I'm Michigan State, I blitz inside to try and plug the run hole.
4th down. Here's Braxton Miller. And he won't get it. What a play to Nico Salad. To the Michigan State defense, the heart and soul of this team, standing up strong and tall to give their offense a football. Langford breaks it outside. Langford with speed and out of bounds at the Ohio State 45. C.J. Barnett runs him out of bounds after the 16-yard gain. Will he get another chance is the question. 1st down at the 45. Langford.
Come on, man.
And Langford taken down by Joel Hale. 2nd down and 10. Cook underneath and caught at the 40-yard line by Kings. 3rd down for the 39. Cook to throw it. Sideline. Ball caught. Looks like enough for a 1st down as Lippett makes the grab.
The previous play is under further review. The ruling on the field is that the runner gained a 1st down.
So they're going to take a look at the spot. Watch where he catches the football and then contact's made by Grant. See, I think this is going to come down to a 1st down. It's going to come back as a 1st down.
Mike Pereira, our rules analyst. Mike, your thoughts?
Well, you got to actually, what you got to do is look at contact. When is he first contacted by the defender? Because that's going to get the progress spot there. It's a generous spot. There's no question about that. I think he missed it by a yard. Whether or not it's short, though, if they were to move it, I don't know.
See, Mike, right there's
so
the contact.
The contact is the key point. Right there, maybe just a little bit more.
After further review, the play stands as called on the field. 1st down.
Connor Cook, young man, has played his heart out tonight.
The run game has not been dominant for Michigan State, so they've substituted Connor Cook's arm with some short passes to supplement that.
From the 34. And they'll hand it off. Langford going outside. Langford just running guys over. Ooh. Nasty. 21 carries, 90 yards for Jeremy Langford. 2nd and 2 at the 26. Lippett in motion. They'll give it straight ahead. Langford still running. Touchdown, Spartans. And the extra point is good. 2:16 to play. Michigan State scored the first 17, Ohio State the next 24. And the Spartans score 17 cents. Wilson. And Dontre Wilson. Finally taken down as he crosses the 30-yard line with 2:08 to go.
Michigan State taking over in this quarter. Connor Cook, a game for the ages, and he's come of age as a quarterback. But now it's in the hands of their defense. Shalik Calhoun is a name we haven't called much since early in the game. Let's see if he can get a pass rush going.
1st down and 10 of the 34. Braxton Miller under pressure. Miller elects to run it. And he'll get out of bounds at the 45.
Calhoun ran right out of his shoe. He'll have to come off the field.
1st down and 10 at the 46. Miller winds up and incomplete. Intended for Devin Smith. Second down and 10 at the 46. Braxton Miller with time. Miller lets it go. And incomplete, intended for Evan Spencer. Third down and 10 at the 46. A minute and 28 remaining. Ohio State with 2 timeouts. Down by 10 points. Braxton Miller. In trouble. Miller lets it go down the field for Philly Brown. Incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down and long. So 4th down and 10 at the 46 for Braxton Miller. Here's Miller to throw it. Incomplete. And the Buckeyes turn it over on downs. And the Spartans are a minute and 13 away from Pasadena. Spartans take over at the Ohio State 46. They hand it off to Langford. Langford spinning forward. 2nd and 5. Langford again. And a dive forward to the Ohio State 35. Looks like a first down. And it is a first down. And that may do it. The Michigan State Spartans came into this game saying in order to be the best, you gotta beat the best. They welcome the challenge of playing the number 2 team in the nation, Ohio State, winners of 24 in a row. The Buckeyes 1 win away from playing for the national championship. Urban Meyer, he's been brilliant in Columbus. But tonight, this Michigan State team playing with passion and determination, along with a whole lot of toughness.
Please put the game clock at 35 seconds, the play clock at 25 seconds.
Michigan State in the victory formation. Connor Cook takes a knee, and that will do it. The Michigan State Spartans defeat Ohio State 34-24.
Thanks for watching Michigan State Football Classics. Be sure to check your local listings for future episodes.